Downtown, Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Friars pregame show for October 2nd, 2022. We got the Padres and the White Sox series finale, the last regular season weekend series for the Padres this year. Can they clinch a playoff spot today? That is obviously the big question. Got Blake Snell on the mound against Lance Lynn. What a night last night was. You had the Brewers lose to the Marlins. They were winning, and then you had the Marlins take the lead late, and like right when that happened, Crony hit the go-ahead big 2-run home run down the right field line into the Crone zone. Manny homered later in the game. Juan Soto had a big homer. So the magic number went from 3 to 1 last night. Obviously, was it 2 at one point after the Brewers loss? What a night! The atmosphere at Petco was amazing, and today I would think it's going to be a sellout. If it's not a sellout, that's probably a disappointment, to be honest. If it was hard to get up from out of bed today, I don't know what to tell you. You know, you have to just be stoked to be a Padres fan today, and wake up today with the chance to be celebrating come 4:30 or whatever in the afternoon, or maybe before that. We might be celebrating during the game. If Milwaukee loses today and the Padres, then they would clinch right there because that magic number is 1. All they need is a Milwaukee loss or Padres win today, and they are in. Yeah, they could not make the postseason today, but it's a day you're anticipating the celebration, you know? So, yeah, it would be disappointing for them not to do it today, just because it feels like, or at least from, social media and all that, it felt like there's a lot of fans that went and bought tickets for today's game when they didn't have the tickets. They went and did that last night so that they could be here today to experience, the atmosphere at Petco to celebrate, all with Padres fans, So that's what's on tap today. Man, hopefully it's not going to be a disappointment today, and hopefully that a playoff spot does get clinched today. They're going to make the postseason. Now it's just a matter of when, right? And who they're going to play. It feels like they're going to be the 5 seed. I believe. Let me double check the wild card standings right now. Right now, they have a 2-game lead on Philadelphia for the final wild card spot, and they have a 3-game lead on Milwaukee for a playoff spot. Philadelphia has a 1-game lead on Milwaukee for that final wild card spot. So that's how the National League standings stand today. So the Padres have a big advantage. There's 4 games left to go, and they only need one more Milwaukee loss or one more Padres win to get in. Manny on the whiteboard in the Padres clubhouse erased the 3 last night, put the 1. Like, they know what's going on here. And those Padres clubhouse attendants, they're going to be hopefully working their butts off, maybe 8th or 9th inning there, to set up for the champagne celebration. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I just can't even imagine what the emotions are going to be if that moment, actually happens today. And because remember last time in 2020, they couldn't celebrate in front of a packed sellout crowd. You know, they were celebrating amongst themselves and maybe waving to some people on the balconies and stuff, the apartments or whatever is beyond Petco, Um, but they could do that today if they clinch in front of a packed crowd. Family can be there. Everyone can be there. So that's amazing. It's going to be a great environment there. Annabelle says she's nervous. Michael says big day today. As for your comment there about being nervous, I don't think you should be nervous. Like, even if they don't clinch a playoff spot today, okay, then they're going to clinch it at some point. Like, I'm at the point right now, and maybe this is foolish of me, but I'm at the point right now where I'm like, the Padres are going to make the postseason. It's just a matter of when. And so we're just waiting for it. But I agree with Michael here. Big day today. Desert Punk says catching a flight out of San Diego today before the game, sadly. I'm so excited for this team. Dang, that sucks. Well, I mean, I don't know if it sucks. I don't know where you're going, but uh, yeah, I'm excited for this team too. Hopefully, you can catch the end of the game or wherever you're going. Lance Lynn, Blake Snell, that's the pitching matchup today. Lance Lynn, he did not have as great of a season as he had last year. Um, his ERA through June, I mean, he started off the season on the IL, and then first month for he had like 3 starts in June, and his ERA was like 6.19 at the end of the month. July wasn't that great either. His ERA actually ended up going up higher from the end of June to the end of July. Right now, it's sitting around 4, I think 4.16. Um, last 2 starts, actually can look at his game logs here. Last 2 starts, combined 11 innings, giving up 7 earned runs, 10 runs in total. Some of them obviously not earned, 2 home runs given up, not striking out really anyone. He's really like a predominant fastball guy. Like when he was pitching really, really well last year, there were some times where he was going complete games and he was not scared to go after hitters with his fastball. Maybe he's doing that this year. I mean, I'm not watching Lance Lynn starts all the time. Maybe he's doing that this year, and guys are just expecting it. The velocity might be down a little bit from last year, but he's just for whatever reason he's not having as much success as he did last year. Kind of like the White Sox in general, right? They underperformed this year. They did not meet expectations. Lucas Giolito, I believe, did not have as great of a year as he did last year. In fact, I can look up his numbers. This year, Giolito has a 5 ERA. Last year, his ERA was 3.53. And then we can look up Lance Lynn's numbers this year compared to last year. He only has a .4 WAR this year, ERA of 4.16. Last year he was an all-star. His ERA was 2.69. 157 innings. He's only at 114.2 right now because he's dealing with some injuries. He placed third in the Cy Young voting last year. Definitely not the same guy this year. Not striking out as many guys. He doesn't really hit batters at all, but he has 10 this year, only had 2 last year. The walks, he's not really walking anyone. Last year he had 45 walks. This year, only 18. I know it's less starts, but maybe he's just too much in the zone, if that makes sense. Like he's just not hitting his spots too much, leaving too many pitches over the middle of the plate. I don't know. But that's who's going for the White Sox today. Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres, and I am confident as I've probably ever been in Blake Snell. He has put together a string of 3 really, really good starts. 7 innings, 1 run against Arizona, September 16th. 7 innings, no runs against St. Louis. That was the start where he struck out 13. That was on September 21st. Then his last start, September 27th against the Dodgers. 5 innings, no runs. I'll take that. I know it was only 5 innings, but I will take that against the Dodgers lineup. Sign me up. So his last 3 outings combined, some not so talented lineups, but 2 of those lineups are playoff lineups. 19 innings, 1 earned run. 26 strikeouts in 19 innings. Again, 1 earned run, an ERA of .47 in his last 3 starts. Like, this is the Blake Snell that we want right now. That Blake Snell in 2020 that was mowing down Dodger hitters in the World Series before he was pulled too early, by the way, obviously by Kevin Cash. That obviously didn't work out for the Rays. That's the guy we're seeing right now. So I have full confidence in Blake that he can give a quality start today, or even if he goes 5 innings, no runs, 5 innings, 1 run, okay. That's fine. Like, this bullpen, it's in good shape. It's not a must-win game today, and the Padres know that. But I would think, I mean, I know if the Padres have a lead, let's say Milwaukee wins today, Padres can seal it then with the win. And they're up 4-1 or 3-1 or whatever. and Blake's done after 5 or 6 innings. That's fine. I'm definitely fine with that. He doesn't need to go long today. They have their bullpen ready to go. Robert Suarez might be the only guy that's not available today, but everyone else, it's ready. I mean, Josh Hader, he's ready. 13 pitches yesterday, looked pretty good. Garcia, he's ready. Martinez, Hill, Morahone, Wilson, Johnson, they should be all ready to go because this is the day they can clinch and not have to worry about guys, their arm health the rest of the way, and what I mean by that is obviously keeping those guys healthy. Like they don't have to save guys for, I don't know, Tuesday or something. If they clinch today, they clinch today, and you can throw Craig Stammen out there for a couple days in a row or 3 days in a row if you want him to. You can bring up Nabil Chrismat or Reese Kinnear. You can do whatever you want if they win today's game. So I think it's all hands on deck, and the pitching it's in a very good spot today. So Snell against Lance Lynn, 110 is the first pitch. Again, the magic number to clinch a postseason spot is 1. By the way, I did want to promote this shirt again. Burn the ships. That mantra, that phrase that Crony put on the whiteboard in Arizona after they lost that Thursday game against the Diamondbacks. Guys, kind of lazy. They just didn't show a whole lot of fight. But they came together, and those personal desires, they burnt those personal desires, if that makes sense. Put that on that ship, burned them. Can only go one direction, which is forward as a team, and that's what we've seen since that players-only meeting, since Bob Melvin had those comments to the media and probably got pretty mad, or at least pretty vocal at the clubhouse in Arizona, or in the clubhouse, the visitors clubhouse in Arizona at Chase Field. So if you want to purchase that shirt, breakingt.com/Talking Friars. You can also, I believe, if on that page, if you scroll down and you want to get the AJ Preller is a Legend shirts, you can also do that. Let's get to the chat here. I will get to the lineups. Last time I checked, the Padres lineup was not out yet. The White Sox lineup is out. So I will talk about that after I get to some of the chat here. If you want to support the channel, you can use the super chat button in the comments, that $sign, and the super thanks button on regular videos. I agree with this. Annabella says there's no way we won't make it. I mean, there is a way. Like if Milwaukee wins every game, we lose every game. But yeah, that's not going to happen. David says, I don't live in San Diego anymore. I was there in 05 when we clinched against the Giants, and of course 98 against the Dodgers. Going to be a blast. Have fun, guys. Yeah, I'm going to have fun. Thank you. The atmosphere, it's going to be great. I'm expecting a sellout crowd definitely today. Probably going to be packed in Gallagher Square on the lawn. This is what this city has been waiting for, right? This is the first time since 2005 that fans will be able to be inside Petco Park to see the Padres clinch a postseason spot. I was 2 years old when that happened. Like today, if they clinch, this is going to be the first time in my lifetime that I'm going to be able to see the Padres clinch a postseason spot at home live. I don't remember when I was 2 or 3 when that happened. 3 years old in 2006 when they made the postseason. I don't remember that. So yeah, it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened. In my lifetime. 2020, yeah, that was cool, but as the players have said, it was different. There was no fans to celebrate with. It was a 60-game season. There were teams. I know the Padres, you can put them in there too, but there were teams like the Dodgers that had veteran starters on that squad, veteran players that didn't have to sustain their greatness for 162 games and then for another possibly what? Uh, 12, 15 games. That didn't have to happen. You didn't have to do that in 2020. So Kershaw, he was able to pitch really well come postseason time. He didn't have that mileage on his arm, and other guys. So this year is different. Making the postseason in a regular season, it's the first time that AJ's going to be able to say that he's done that. First time that front office and Peter Seidler can say that they've done that since they've taken over, in a full season. So, yeah, there's going to be excitement all over the place, a lot of smiles. Hopefully, today is the day, hopefully. Desert Punks here says, inevitably, the road leads to LA. I'm hoping we can pull away with a victory if we make the postseason. I agree. I know we had this conversation earlier this week about the Padres and the Dodgers and like the confidence level and the Padres beating the Dodgers. I mean, I can't in a postseason series. I'm not going to say that I expect the Padres to beat the Dodgers in a postseason series because they couldn't do it in a regular season series. They just haven't been able to do it this year, and haven't been able to do it for the last decade, if we're being honest, right? Like consistently. Haven't won a season series since 2010, I think, against the Dodgers. So you can't expect them to win the series, but I think that I think you can expect them to compete. I think you can expect them to not get swept. I think that should be an expectation. But look, it's a short way down the road, but it's also a long ways down the road. Like that NLDS would be what, a couple weeks away, maybe less than, yeah, probably a little less than that, because the wild card series would happen next weekend, so it'd be a little less than that. So that does feel kind of right there, but also it doesn't feel like right there. It's a long ways away because they still have to win the wild card series. Probably going to face the Mets. The Mets have dropped, I think, their last two to the Braves. So if we look at the standings right now, the Mets, they are down a game. They're one game back from Atlanta for the National League East title right now. Both obviously have a playoff spot. The Mets have 98 wins. Padres only have 87 going into today. So it's going to be a tough matchup against the Mets. But the Padres can hit Scherzer. They've demonstrated that before, including this year. I believe they won that game at Citi Field when Scherzer was pitching. And I'll take Darvish against DeGrom, to be honest. You know, so yeah, I'm excited for what is to come for this team. See if the Padres lineup is out yet. I don't believe that it is. No, it's not. Okay, so here's the White Sox lineup. Elvis Andrus is leading off. He's at shortstop. Yohan Moncada is at third. Jose Abreu is DHing. AJ Pollock is in left. Andrew Vaughn is at first. Josh Harrison's at second base. Romy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Romy or Rami Gonzalez, he's in right field. Adam Engel is in center. And then Carlos Perez is doing the catching behind the plate. Um, by the way, props to Clev. I mean, I'll talk about this more in the series reaction episode after the game today, regardless of the result. When I get home, don't know when that's going to be, depending on the result. But I will definitely go live tonight. Props to Clev for bearing down last night. Elvis Andrus had that home run, first batter of the game yesterday, and it was like, all right, well, that's a great start. Not. But then he bared down. I think he retired 16 guys in a row or something like that. So huge props to him. After Andrus, he finished with 6 shutout innings, if you don't include the Andrus home run. And him and Manaea, really 2 great outings. Each of their last outings, combine those two. I mean, they've been really good recently. So that could be really good for the Padres. Come playoff time, you need a piggyback in a wild card game. If Snell starts a game, you want to put Clevin after him. That works too. If they're pitching well, so that's very encouraging. Maybe not something that's going to be talked about a whole lot because we're going to be focused probably on the starting pitching, right? Snell, Musgrove, Darvish, like in a wild card series. But how are they going to go? How are they going to get to a win after those guys, right? And I think, you have, if you have Clev and you have Manaea behind those starters, and then you can go Morahone and Martinez and mix and match there. And Hader has been amazing his last 10 appearances. His ERA is under 1. Like, I'm confident in our pitching staff as much as any pitching staff in baseball. By the way, my Padre pick today is going to be Brandon Drury, assuming that he's in the lineup. Again, I haven't seen a lineup yet. Yeah, I don't believe there's a lineup out yet, but Drury, I believe, has an 8-game hitting streak going into today. Yesterday, I went with Jerks and Profar. He got a hit. So I am 152 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. I think that's pretty good. And I didn't go with Manny and Soto every day. I tried to mix it up. But yeah, so talking about where Philly and Milwaukee are today while we're waiting for the lineup. So Philly, they are about to get underway if they have not already gotten underway against the Nationals. Their magic number, I believe, is 3 after Milwaukee's loss last night. They split that doubleheader with the Nationals yesterday. I think both games were blowouts. Wow, the Nationals 55 and 103 this year. They they suck. Poor Luke Voigt. Um, Milwaukee, they're playing in Miami. Or excuse me, they're playing against Miami in Milwaukee today. That's at 11:10 a.m. I'm just looking at Twitter to make sure I'm not missing a lineup. So the Milwaukee game, what inning might it be when we know what the result is? Maybe it's the 6th inning, 7th inning that we know if Milwaukee wins or loses. And if they lose, then Petco's going to show the Milwaukee game on the Milwaukee score on the scoreboard on the Jumbotron, and that place is going to go nuts when that happens. Freddie Peralta's pitching for the Brewers today. Pablo Lopez pitching for the Marlins. Pablo Lopez has been really good this year, or at least most of the year. So Marlins, I think, have a pretty good shot of beating Milwaukee today. Obviously, Milwaukee has their A lineup in, or at least they have to have it in. Yelich, Adames, Tellez, Renfroe, Colton Wong, McCutchen, Jace Peterson, Omar Narvaez, Garrett Mitchell. They got to win. They have to win out. So you talk about playoff games here on out. That's what it is for Milwaukee. And that's a spot the Padres want Milwaukee to be in, obviously. So we'll see. We're all just waiting. We're all just waiting, building up that anticipation for what's going to happen today. Or if it doesn't happen today, what's going to happen tomorrow. But hopefully it happens today in front of a packed Petco Park. And the crowd can go nuts. You want them to clinch with the win, right? Josh Hader to get a save and the dog pile happen. But look, I don't care which way happens. Like if Milwaukee loses and that's how they clinch, okay. By the way, what would happen? So if they see on the Jumbotron, they show on the Jumbotron today in the middle of the game, Milwaukee loses to Miami. What happens there? Does Bob Melvin call time and go take Blake Snell and go take Luis Garcia or whoever's in there out of the game, and then bring in Will Myers to pitch or bring in Craig Stammen out of the bullpen? What happens from there? Because you clinched a postseason spot, right? I know they probably still want to win the game, but you don't have to win the game. You're in. I know they probably want the 5 seed. I don't think it's smart to try to play for a 6 seed or anything. Just try to go win games. But who knows? Who knows what their strategy will be? If they know they're going to be in, maybe you don't take the big guys out because you want them on the field when the moment happens. But you do want to prepare for the postseason and keep guys healthy. I still don't see a Padres lineup out yet. But I will keep you posted on social. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Profar's leading off in left. Soto's in right. Manny's at third. Crony's at second. Drury's in there at first. He's my Padre pick, going for his ninth straight game with a hit. Josh Bell's DHing. Ha-Sung Kim's in there at shortstop. Nola's catching. And Azokar is in center field. That's your playoff lineup probably. Unless you're going to put Myers in there for Bell or something. But that's your playoff lineup. Profar, Soto, Manny, Crony, Drury, Bell, Kim, put Nola in there, and then Azokar. They're going to ride Nola. Dennis Lin put out a piece in The Athletic today talking about Nola and his receiving and knowing the right time to go out to the mound to talk to pitchers. Joe Musgrove had some quotes on that, so you can check that out if you want to on The Athletic. But yeah, Nola's the guy. He might be pitching every game in the postseason. He might. We never know. So, yeah, that's the lineup today. It's an expected lineup. That's a playoff lineup right there, I think. They have the opportunity to clinch with the win today. Will it happen? We'll see. I'm confident that they can do it with Blake Snell on the mound with this bullpen. Let's hope they do it. Enjoy the game today. Enjoy this moment. If you're at the game, I know people want to pull out their phones, and I probably will at some point too, but enjoy this moment. This hasn't happened since 2006. If it happens today, first time the Padres clinch a postseason spot in a full season. 2006. So enjoy it. All right. This is the Talking Friars pregame show. Ben Fenn signing off. October 2nd, 2022. Is this the day? We'll find out. See you later after the game.